I'm Vic Myers. Welcome to The Resistance. Check out this headline. Trump expands voluntary pledge to protect consumers from high utility bills from AI data centers. You can read the whole article on the Associated Press website. So Trump is promising that the AI overlords and governors will just voluntarily ensure that you and I are not left paying the cost of all these data centers being built. I think we've seen enough grifts from Trump that everybody should recognize this one right away. We can begin with the fact that billionaires don't become billionaires by voluntarily paying for things they can get others to pay for. Just ask anybody who's worked for Trump. They're not going to voluntarily pay for grid upgrades or voluntarily pay higher rates when they don't have to. As for the governors, they don't typically have the power to dictate to public utility commissions or their legislatures. They can promise all day long that you and I won't pay for data centers. It's kind of like promising they'll make sure your plane will land on time. Those are the obvious reasons this headline falls apart, but there's an even more concrete reason, one that just might counter the Kool-Aid. The Federal Power Act has been around since 1935. It eventually created the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, or FERC. It also created the Just and Reasonable Standard. For many decades, the FERC has interpreted the Just and Reasonable Standard to mean that power companies can essentially recoup all reasonable costs of doing business. A White House promise doesn't carry with it the force of law. Ergo, if a power company spends $20 million upgrading the power grid and there's no law requiring the data center to pay for it, your PUC will allow the power company to raise rates. Because when does the plane ever land on time? This all reminds me of Colorado House Bill 261337, facilitating nuclear energy development. It would have required Colorado's largest investor-owned utility to begin identifying potential nuclear power plant sites. That would be Xcel Energy, by the way. During committee debate, it was argued that the ratepayers wouldn't necessarily have to pick up the tab for this study because it would be up to the PUC. Well, the problem with that argument is that one, the state was mandating the study, and two, this law literally said the utility could spend and recover up to $20 million. Under the Just and Reasonable Standard of the Federal Power Act, the PUC would allow Xcel Energy to recover $20 million from ratepayers. So Trump's promise that we won't foot the bill is no more convincing than the sponsors of 1337 saying that we just might not have to. Some would say they're both outright obfuscations. By the way, here are the sponsors of House Bill 261337. I'm sure it's no accident that Xcel Energy has donated to several of the 27 PACs so far funding Ty's campaign. I don't take PAC money for my campaign. Just saying. Good day.